Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel called the Yu-Gi-Oh! Project, where I'm modernizing decks that have appeared throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. In this episode I'm making another deck for the biggest simp in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise called Bastion Misawa. I have already discussed his submissive habits in his Litmus Doom Swordsman episode, which you can watch by clicking the pop-up in the right upper corner, so I will focus in this episode solely on his deck. As discussed previously, Bastion plays many different decks throughout the series. All of them are listed in the Litmus episode, by the way, so today we are making his first seen deck called the Element deck. As the name implies, the deck consists of element archetype monsters, which gain different effects according to the different attributes that our opponent might be playing. These effects are kinda dumb and very anemic for the 2021 metagame, so the deck is not really focused around them, but instead I abuse their level, which is 4, so this deck basically became a very good rank 4 spam deck. Bastion also plays a Vorse Raider in this deck, which made the rank 4 plays even easier, as the Vorse Raider can be splashed up to the field with unexpected die. During the duels which Bastion plays with this deck, he also plays some very handy trap and spell cards, such as Living Fossil, Mystical Space Typhoon, Magic Cylinder, and the Curse Seal of Forbidden Spells, which made this deck quite much more powerful. So in essence, this deck is a rank 4 spam deck with some handy back row thrown in for a good measure and anime accuracy. For my dear viewers which expect the Yam Yugi Project R deck, I have not forgotten about you, but I just could not make the deck good enough for a Thames character, so I will release it in the upcoming week or so, when it will be strong enough and pure enough. This deck will also be constructed according to the 6 deck building rules of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Project. And before we get to the deck profile, please like this video, subscribe to my channel and tell me in the comments below what do you want to see next. In this deck we are playing 3 copies of Vorse Raider, a monster that can be splashed to the field with unexpected die, and because it is a level 4, it can be used as an easy rank 4 material. Then 3 copies of Chaos Valkyria, a monster that can be summoned very easily in this deck as we only play light and dark monsters, and her level aids us with rank 4 plays. 1 Luna, the Dark Spirit, for the same reason as Chaos Valkyria, but if you want to play the deck extra pure, just swap this card with 1 copy of Trojan Horse, which Bastion plays in the anime. Then 2 copies of every element monster. Their effects don't really matter, but they are adequate rank 4 materials, and this is the reason why we are playing so many of them. 3 copies of Unexpected Eye to splash out Vorse Raider, 3 copies of Double Summon to summon 2 monsters in 1 turn in order to XYZ summon, 1 MST to deal with back row, and because Mr. Daichi plays it, 3 copies of Living Fossil, because it is used by Bastion to summon monsters from the graveyard, and this tends to aid us with XYZ summons. 3 copies of Impermanence to deal with problematic effect monsters, 2 copies of Magic Cylinder to deal effect damage and to protect our monsters in battle, 2 copies of Ring of Destruction to blow up problematic monsters and to deal effect damage, 2 copies of There Can Be Only One because we play many different monster types, so this card won't affect us at all, but it can be deadly to our opponent if he relies only on one type of monster. And finally 2 copies of an amazing trap used by Bastion, the Curse Seal of Forbidden Spell, which negates a spell card for entire duel. In the side deck there are some cards used by Bastion in the anime which fit the deck poorly or are just too situational to be played in this deck. Then in the extra deck we are playing 2 copies of Zeus, the boss monster of the deck, to wipe the board and to beat down our opponent, 2 copies of Vespenato for piercing damage ability and for the floating effect upon destruction, 2 copies of Tornado Dragon to deal with back row, 1 Baguska to stall, 1 Castel to deal with problematic monsters by shuffling them into the deck, 1 Pendra's Action because it is very quirky and can be a great rank 4 beater in certain situations, 1 Exciton Knight for his baby Zeus board wiping ability, 1 Abyss Dweller to interfere with the graveyard effect heavy decks, 2 copies of Dugares for utility, as this card lets us draw cards, beef up our monsters, or it can be used as a monster reborn, 1 Evil Swarm Nightmare to slow down opponent by setting their monsters face down, and 1 3-headed Dust Dragon because it can be a very big beater if our opponent happens to be playing high attack monsters. And that would be it for the deck profile, so strap yourself in, this replays will be short and sweet.